Thank you for listening to the Red Rose Journey Show on CKMS 102.7 FM in Kitchener-Waterloo. That was Fawn Wood, Remember Me. We are here with Two White Feather, me, of course, Lori Gentle Eagle right beside me. We got Cedar Beater Bear, Rufus Boofus, Arrow Barrel, and Wogi Rushevsky here. So thank you for listening to and tuning in today. We are doing about red missing and murdered today, and we are on the neutral Haudenosaunee and Anishinaabe lands. So Chimigwet for listening and tuning in.
Yeah. So yesterday was the National Day of Action. So there were 231 calls for justice, and many of which have a long way to go, just like the calls for action with regard to truth and reconciliation. So we're going to hear today from some women speaking about those actions that are still needed, and a little bit about their experiences. As well, we're going to dedicate some music to those missing and murdered women all across Turtle Island and beyond.
Yes.
So, we're going to move in to the first story here.
And it's Justice for All Children in Care. You can find this on CBC News Manitoba on YouTube.
Yeah, and it's actually a video that was put out. It's called Mother, Sister, Daughter. So here's the first clip that we're going to share.
Clarissa Chaput. I am 19 years old. My community, I was born in Dauphin. Raised in Winnipeg, Manitoba.
They were protecting us. A lot of us wouldn't have been missing.
Mother, sister, daughter.
I was homeless by the time I was 15. I was looking for food on the streets. I was hopping couch to couch. I was human trafficked at a young age too. I was in and out of CFS's homes. They would put me into shelters, and just plenty of shelters that, like, some places I was starved, some places I was abused. When I was growing up, I kind of got mixed with the wrong crowd, I guess I could say. They brought me into their home. I was being abused. I was being forced to do things I never wanted to do. They would drug me up. They would shoot me up. They did a lot of stuff to me. If I was to leave the house, they would beat me up and drag me back in. So the only time I would get to leave is with them. And if I was to go by myself, I would get in trouble and dragged down the stairs. I was held hostage until I was found by police detectives, until they raided the house for me. It was just a normal day. I was going to do what they wanted me to do to make money, and we heard pounding on the door, and all of them were rushing around the house. I didn't know what for until police started coming in, and they asked me my name, and they said, "Are you Carissa?" And I said yes, and they said, "Okay, you need to come with us now." And I was brought to the hospital, and when I was found, I had chlamydia in my eyes from all the stuff that was happening to me. I was really beaten up really bad. I was 92 pounds. I was spitting up blood. I had a lung problem. So this took so long. I felt really relieved, but I just wondered and thought to myself, why would it take this long to find me? I was underage. I wasn't even of age to telling people, oh yeah, I want to do this and that. I wasn't. They didn't tell me why it took too long. On their mind, I was apparently too hard to handle, so they kind of gave up, I could say. Like the system. Like Métis CFS. Out of all people, Métis CFS kind of gave up on me. Because I was a very troubled little girl, but I had a heart, and I'm a human being. I didn't deserve any of that. I think we need more resources, more homes for the girls when you age out of care, because I notice a lot of children, when they age out of care, they go homeless, and then this stuff happens to them, and then they end up being murdered, or they overdose, or they go missing. I don't see that they're protecting us at all. If they were protecting us, a lot of us wouldn't be missing, a lot of us wouldn't be dead. A lot of us would have not perfect lives, but good lives that we deserve and that we need, because we need to have good lives in order to survive.
So that pertains to call number 12 for social workers specifically, and those implicated in child welfare, right? To be doing more for justice.
Yes.
And now we're going to play another song here.
So our next song's going to be... Oh, we got to find it, guys.
How about Pray,
Pray Sister, Pray.
And this is Crystal Shawanda.
Ooh, a hook.
Yes, sister, did you hear Billy Rose ain't never been found? Went missing on the 4th of June. Family hasn't heard a sound. Jim Crow met her walking, had knocked out Beach Road. Said she was meeting friends downtown, but then she never showed, and nobody knows. Hey, hey, where did she go? Hey, hey, someone has to know. Hey, hey, where did she go? Oh, so sisters, please, please pray. Don't let them fade away. We're gonna raise our voices, they're gonna hear us scream. So we're all wide awake, and this is all just a real bad dream. Pray, sisters, please, please pray. someone's got a secret they're too scared to tell. All this coincidence and the truth just won't prevail, and nobody knows. Hey, hey, where did she go? Hey, hey, someone has to know. Hey, hey, where did they go? Oh, so sisters, please, please cry. Don't let them fade away. We're gonna raise our voices. They're gonna hear us scream. So we're all wide awake, and this is all just a real bad dream. Pray, sisters, please, please pray. Pray, sisters, please, please pray. Oh, so sisters, please, please pray. Don't let them fade away. We're gonna raise our voices. They're gonna hear us scream. Till we're all wide awake, and this is all just a real bad dream. Pray, sisters, please, please pray. Pray, sisters, please, please pray. Pray, sisters, please, please pray. Please pray. Please pray.
Yeah, pray, sister, pray. What a bang frickin' song. Hola.
Okay, and the next story that we're going to listen to focuses on justice and policing with regard to missing and murdered.
Ooh.
My name is Val Charlotte, and I'm from the Matthias Colomb Cree Nation. I'm the mother of Tristan Raven Job, and she belongs to her father's band, the Peter Ballantyne Band.
Justice would look like a task force, especially assigned to cases like my daughter's.
This is it's like a little sacred bundle for her, for me, for us here. And it has the 4 medicines tied to each of the corners. And what this is doing is helping me get through this. My daughter, Rainbow Child, Tristan Raven Job, she was a beautiful spirit. She was a surprise. I didn't think that I could have children, and lo and behold, I was so excited and happy. The ancestors gave the name Rainbow Child. And so that's why she has that name. I got a phone call. I received a lot of messages. So I answered my daughter's many Facebook messages, and she said that Tristan's gone. And It's like I went off somewhere. I didn't know, I didn't believe. And I went home and I called the RCMP and to ask them what was going on. They informed me that my daughter had passed and that she's at the morgue in Flin Flon, and that she was found deceased at the Creighton Phantom Lake golf course. And still, I'm not believing. And I had the hope. I still had hope right up until they finally let me into the morgue to see my daughter. She didn't look good. She had a large vein that was popped out in her neck. And I thought, okay, she was choked. She was murdered. And the coroner was kind of drawing his own conclusions, that he was describing that maybe she fell. That she fell in between some boards. Why would my daughter wander to the middle of a golf course to go die by herself? It doesn't make sense. But that is what the RCMP want me to believe. And I don't. Justice would look like a task force, especially assigned to cases like my daughter's, because she's not the only one. A task force that could be mobilized when an Indigenous person passes. So this task force, I could see them coming in, and they comprise of professionals that know how to look at a scene, that have Indigenous people as well part of it, are elders that carry their sacred bundles to be a part of it, that can see things that we can't really see. Because that's where my daughter is. She's there with all things. She was there at the sacred fire every night.
Oh, wow. To be honest, I want to move out to BC, but that's one thing I'm afraid of is, and it sounds like by her story that there was something else that the RCMP actually had. To me, it seemed like they did something, because you always hear First Nations peoples with RCMPs being dropped off at the edge of the city to die, especially in the winter and different things like that. And it seems like the RCMP, I'm not trying to, I'm just thinking out loud, and I'm thinking that the RCMP had did something to her daughter, because that doesn't make sense.
Or at the very least, didn't do enough.
Or didn't
to do proper police work, right?
Yes.
And get to the bottom of what happened.
Yeah.
And do it in a way like this woman said, right? Involve cultural people to, get the answers in a way that is deserving for everybody affected.
Exactly. And we need more First Nations peoples, maybe not on the police force, but working with the police force to help them understand and where we're coming from, First Nations peoples. And I hate to say that, because I do not like working with police, but we need more people to be working with police that are First Nations, so that they have a better understanding on our peoples, on the majority of our people. So yeah. But with that, we're gonna play a song, and it's gonna be For Our Sisters, okay? And that's what the song is. So here it is, For Our Sisters.
And it's original music by Genevieve, Salamone, featuring Meka and
sisters.
Yeah, so that was like again for our sisters, and you know, us men, we need to stand up and do something about for our sisters, our aunties, the females of First Nations culture, because it happens more to them than to us. But we need to start protecting these our sisters. You know, if they're you know, say going out for the night or whatever, have someone with them. You know, make sure that, you know, there's someone always with them to bring them home safely. You know, instead of, you know, if they go out and the next thing you know they're disappeared. You know, have someone there with them. Have like maybe an air tag on them somewhere, so that or GPS on their phone or something, so that you can tell where, you know, if they're okay or something, you know. So there's different things we can do to help protect our sisters in First Nations cultures, and we need to do more, I think, and to help them out, right?
Yeah, definitely, and certainly the boys in blue, so to speak,
yeah,
or the RCMP. Need to be doing more. And when Isaac was speaking about that, I was trying to remember, because this is going back many, many years ago now, the person that came to speak at the Native Women's Center when I worked there. And their name, I found the reference, because this was such a powerful speaker. Mm-hmm. This was the Vancouver detective at the time of the Robert Pickton murders. So, down in Vancouver, and they were the former head of the missing persons unit. They wrote a book, and I haven't been able to get through it myself yet, but I do encourage those of you to read it. Certainly listening to their story as they were telling it firsthand was pretty powerful for me. But the book is called The Lonely Section of Hell: The Botched Investigation of a Serial Killer Who Almost Got Away. And Lorimer speaks about both the regulatory and bureaucratic failures that hampered this investigation of Robert Pickton. They could have had Robert Pickton a heck of a lot earlier than they did. Yeah, I mean, it's that old, we have no body, no evidence. Most of the women were from the downtown Lower East Side of Vancouver, the throwaways, those that didn't matter, etc., etc., and all that prejudice and discrimination. And Lorimer gets right to the bottom of it all. So that reminded me of that when you were speaking, Isaac. So I just wanted to familiarize people with that.
Yeah. And one other thing I wanted to let you guys know before we get into our next song, I'm going to do a Murder Missing bike ride. So if you guys want to donate, you guys can. Please PM us. I'll be doing the bike ride within the next week. I'm thinking on the weekend maybe. But I'll have to look at our schedule. I will post on Facebook, on the Facebook page, more information about the missing and murdered bike ride that I'll be doing. So.
Okay, and we're going to get into the next story here. And we're going to stay with the criminal justice system for a little bit. So this is around justice in the courtroom.
My English name is Laurie Thompson, and I am a band member of my maternal Pine Creek First Nation in Manitoba.
A safe space to tell the truth and be loved.
Well, just like every day, I honor all of creation, and I honor all of those who are still here and all of those who aren't here anymore. And specifically in regards to, I'll say pandemic of MMIWG, 2S, LGBTQ. And I also sit here because I'm honoring my journey. I'm one of those individuals who had gone missing from my community for a very short period of time. And it's likely that the only people that know that I was missing was the 3 people I was with at that time. We were picked up, my friend and I, we were about 13, and driven out of the community by a couple of older men. And they told us they were going to take us far out of the community. They were going to rape us and beat us and then leave us for dead. And that's all I remember. That's the memory that I have of my own experience of going missing. What happens in the justice system is whether there is a reasonable probability that a conviction will be secured. That's the test that gets utilized. Whether it's something like that or whether it's a sexual assault, it's not about bringing truth into the light. It focuses on whether a conviction can be secured and brought into the light. It's a terrible system, because if it does something to a person when the Crown say, I do believe you, but we're not going to secure a conviction, so we can't move forward. Have a good life. That's the response that happens in the system all the time. And the reason I know this is because I was a criminal lawyer at one time practicing. That female spirit, energy, sacredness, mind, body, emotions has been excluded from that whole journey. And when you see a woman sitting in the witness box, like me, it becomes about me. It doesn't become about what that individual did to me. What was I wearing? Did I drink something? Was I attracted to them? Was I giving mixed signals? Right? those are all the stepping stones to us women becoming missing and murdered. What justice looks like for me is there being a safe space to tell the truth and being believed. Human beings don't generally lie about being harmed in all of the horrific ways that we're being harmed. So allowing for that safe space, making that safe space to talk, and having that look also culturally appropriate. I'm a sacred woman. I know that. And it's not ego speaking. It's a fact. It's the truth. My children are sacred. My grandchildren are sacred. All Indigenous people are sacred.
So calls for justice with regard to attorneys and law societies, right? For justice in the courtroom.
Our next song is Missing and Murdered Indigenous Woman, Missing and Murdered Indigenous Woman.
By Jahkota Music.
So here it is.
I will not shut up, and I will not sit down until our 1,200 missing sisters are found. I will scream and I will yell because they have been silenced. I will fight the silent battle with our women against violence, and the most violent and benevolent being could not keep me from speaking the true meaning of free. I will not be quiet. What happened to our sisters? Are they missing or murdered?
This is from my murdered, missing Indigenous women, drowning in our tears of sorrow. We keep swimming. We'll no longer be quiet. It's too late for your apology. It's time to break the silence, like Mary Black's poetry. We gotta stop all the violence towards women. Acknowledging the problem is only just the beginning. 16% of all women murdered are Indigenous. Nobody to prosecute. There's not even any witnesses. Thousands of girls missing is just a fraction. Truth and reconciliation is our call to action. Stories untold, only secrets in their diary. Girls gone missing is a national inquiry. What happened to our sisters? Are they missing or murdered? What happened to our mothers? Are they missing or murdered? What happened to our daughters? Are they missing or murdered? To all my Native women, you will never be forgotten.
More appreciated. And I mean it when I say it. I hope I make you smile when you play this, cause baby you deserve it. And nobody is perfect. Never let them make you feel worthless. You are on the earth for never-ending purpose. Up to you to find that. It's gonna take some searching. Looking in the mirror like no one's gonna hurt you. Keep those good vibes running strong through your circle. I know it's really hard, but in time you will find things get better with a positive mind. Something about the energy causing the climb. Reaching for the stars cause you destined for your time.
What happened to our sisters? Are they missing or murdered? What happened to our mothers? Are they missing or murdered? What happened to our daughters? Are they missing or murdered? To all my Native women, you will never be forgotten. Why do our parents carry so much regret? Why has so much damage come to our women? Why at the age of 12 did I become a victim of sexual assault? And not just me, but so many of my friends and my family. Women and girls who are beautiful beyond explanation. Their bodies to become used and abused, just another violation on an Indigenous woman.
that was Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women by Jahkota Music. And we're going to go back to turning a critical eye to that criminal justice system. And this time the story focuses on justice behind bars.
Angela LaValle. My spirit name is For Grandmother's Woman. I'm from Cormorant, Manitoba, and I currently reside in Winnipeg, Manitoba. I'm honoring my late granddaughter, Zaylin. I'm honoring my daughters. I'm honoring my grandchild, and I honor myself. Zaylin was my second granddaughter. She was born in 2014, and she was a beautiful baby who had the eyes of an angel. You could get lost in her eyes. She was taken from us on April 24th, 2015. Suddenly, and no thorough investigation was ever done. Her death was deemed undetermined, and we had to find justice through healing without the Western justice system. So Zaylin lives with us through spirit only right now. Nobody ever looked back to ask what had happened to her, other than probably me and my family. When I feel Zaylin's story, everybody failed Zaylin. Everybody that should have and could have protected her failed Zaylin, and Jay failed my grandchildren and my daughter. But we sometimes forget the stories that follow Zaylin, the people who are grieving her, the mothers who grieve their children. They are led into this dark path of coping with the grief and the trauma that leads them so easily to be picked up by criminal justice systems, because then not only have they been harmed, but now they begin doing things that they shouldn't be doing, or they get involved with things. They start coping because the atrocities that led them there, they didn't just wake up one day and say, I'm going to do this. I'm going to put a needle to my arm. So the stories with correction and the women who are in correction need to be reminded and empowered why they're there, especially Indigenous women. It's so easy for people to forget that section 2, the 231 calls for justice, right? Because when we think about MMIWG and Two-Spirit, we think about stories of Zaylin, somebody who's gone. You know, this harm has been done. I wish that you would come home to show us your smile. There needs to be more done with that, because families are impacted. Families are impacted here in different provinces in Manitoba, in corrections. When it comes to that punitive way of healing, we need to ensure that the whole family is wrapped around in services. We need to make sure that the family's prepared to, do their healing work together so they can embrace her as she comes back. How do we stop doing wrong so people don't have to keep trying to pick themselves up after they've been pushed down?
Calls for justice pertaining to the Correctional Service of Canada. All right, and we'll play another song. What would you like to play, Isaac?
Let's Matoaka, the first Missing and Murdered by Genevieve Salamone, I think. Yep. That's how you pronounce her name, I think.
Yeah, and we heard from her a little earlier on
in another
video. So here she is.
Waihta Iuchti. This is how we say the color red in the language of my people. It translates to, it is like ochre in Wendat. In many indigenous communities, we believe that the color red is the only color that the spirits can see. It is also for that reason that it is a symbol for the missing and murdered indigenous women, girls, and two-spirited peoples. The many contributing factors that feed into the MMIW epidemic include colonization, tokenism, man camps relating to fossil fuel extraction, sex trafficking, and the over-sexualization and false imagery of indigenous peoples portrayed in mainstream film and media. A notable example of this is in Disney's Pocahontas. The romanticized version of this story could not be further from the truth. Her real name was Matoaka, and she wasn't even a teenager when John Smith claims she saved him from execution. Matoaka was then forcibly removed from her home and family, where she later died in a foreign land. This has led many to believe that Matoaka was one of the first missing and murdered indigenous women on Turtle Island. What's more is that this is widely underreported. Only 30% of indigenous victims make the national news compared to over half of Caucasian victims. And despite indigenous peoples only representing approximately 4% of the population, we are murdered at 10 times the rate of the national average. We don the red handprint across our mouths to represent the voices who are no longer with us, while hanging the red dresses up in the trees to invite the lost spirits to find their way home again. To our stolen sisters, you are unforgotten.
Ooh, very strong, very strong.
And we're going to listen to another clip here, this time with regard to Inuit women. So our stolen sisters of the North.
My name is Nikki Kumaksiutiksa. My home community is Chesterfield in Litnunavut. Jessica Michaels is my first cousin, but we called each other sisters. And in 2001, she was murdered here in Winnipeg, Manitoba. So when me and my sister Jessica, when we were 13 years old, as we all know, the legacy of the residential school system is not a very nice story. And there's a lot of horrible things that happened to a lot of Indigenous people across Canada. And as a result, my mother and my aunts and my uncles and many other people across Canada, when they started having children, it was very hard for them to parent because they weren't taught how to parent appropriately. And as a result of that, I was sent to Winnipeg when I was 6 because my mother couldn't take care of me. Out of the 4 of us girls, Jessica had the most beautiful voice. She could light up a room just by one verse of a song. Her voice was that beautiful. And we traveled the world throat singing and showcasing our identity and our culture back in the early 90s. But behind closed doors, me and my sisters suffered the most extreme abuse that anyone could ever endure. Torturous abuse. Some stories are being beaten with an extension cord, wire hangers, being stabbed and sewn, and no one knew where we were and what was happening to us. So it was really easy for us to get involved with very scary people. But it was hard for Jessica because she was the worst, beaten and abused. So growing up in the child family system here in Winnipeg, you know, she got involved with the wrong crowd. She got involved with a man that promised her love, money, cars. She had a lot of friends that were being murdered, and she was afraid that she was next. They found her in a rooming house on William Avenue. The toxicologist reported saying that there was so much crack cocaine in her system that a grown man's heart could have busted. She was found with an extension cord wrapped around her neck, kneeling down, holding an X-Acto knife in one hand. No one was held responsible for her death. No one wanted to take responsibility for her death. The government of Nunavut, the government of Canada, the province of Manitoba, the child welfare system. Justice for me, when we think about Nunavut, for example, there's so much crises happening in Nunavut as a result of lack of resources. We look at the food prices first and foremost and how that affects families and children. We look at the housing crisis, and it's a housing crisis. You have addictions, you have trauma, you have abuse, and then you have the highest rate of suicides in all over the world in Nunavut. So yes, it is the responsibility of the Crown, of the government, to ensure that there are proper programming and resources available. I need my community to feel rich when it comes to who they are and where they come from. And that is my goal for the rest of my life.
Okay, so calls for justice for Inuit women. And Vanessa Brousseau, if you haven't heard of her, I really encourage you to read up on the work that she's doing, the advocacy work that she's doing. She and her partner are traveling across Canada in a mobile van, actually, that they purchased through GoFundMe
That's pretty
account.
cool.
Because her sister went missing in 2003. So she's been missing for a really, really long time. And again,
goodness.
lots of questions around what the police could have done or did do and didn't do, and all of that. So she's spearheading this awareness campaign, and all in memory of her sister. And it kind of hit close to home to me because her sister was spent a fair bit of time in Timmins, and that's actually, she's an Inuk woman, but she disappeared in Timmins, Ontario, and very close to South Porcupine. I think her father was from South Porcupine, and that's where my grandmother was from, and my dad up there in Timmins as well. So yeah, missing for 21 plus years. Pamela Jane Holopanian. Check out the work and get involved as much as you can with Vanessa Brousseau and her partner. And she also writes books. They're selling all kinds of crafts as well.
Wow.
Resilient Inuk is their creative works page, and you can support in that way as well.
Well, that's pretty cool that she's doing all that, right? So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's amazing.
Alrighty, so I think
Our
we've
next,
got time for
we got time for
another
one more song.
Okay.
So I'm thinking Little Star
Little Star by Iskwe.
by Iskwe. So here's Little Star by Iskwe. Oh yeah. Jimmy Quets for tuning in, and we'll see you next week on the Red Road Journey Show.
Did you hear what they had to say about our lost star? They take in ways I can't understand. They place the blame on her like she was nobody's child. Now all I see today is how they wash away our little star. All I see today is how they wash away our little star. You see the way they play, say to be a part of change, I think they lie. Happens time and time and time again. They place the blame on him like he was nobody's child. Now all I see today is how they wash away our little star. All I see today is how they wash away our little star. Fire down, fire down, fire down, fire down, fire down, fire down, fire, fire down, fire down, fire down. Fire down, fire down, fire down, fire down, 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 fire down. Now all I see today is how they wash away our little star. All I see today is how they wash away our little star. All that I see today is how they wash away our little star. All I see today is how they wash away our little star.
Okay, and that
Hook
was
yeah.
Iskwe with Little Star. And we do have one last video clip, but really we do encourage you to go on to CBC's website and watch Mother, Sister, Daughter for more of the clips and kind of an update on where they are with implementing those calls to justice. There's lots of good information on that website. But here we are here with justice and the power of traditional healing.
Hi, my name is Lisa Courier. I'm the Regional Addiction Counselor for a program called Manitoba Mobile Addiction Team. I'm from Nelson House, Manitoba, Treaty 5 territory, and the traditional name for my community is Nisichawasi Cree Nation. to heal. We have unlimited amounts of the medicines that we use on the land that we live on. We use the land and the water, the plants and the animals in our healing. We use our elders and our teachings and our languages and our songs for our healing. So when we leave our community, we're leaving all our healing methods behind. And you're often coming into a big city like Winnipeg with little supports and easier access to substances that you might be addicted to. So it's a precarious situation, and also more dangerous for our Indigenous women, girls, and Two-Spirit who come to the city, who are targeted for exploitation and violence, so far from their families, their children, and their community that fully supports them and loves them. Again, it's about building up the skills of the frontline workers in the community. They're there, they have the passion, they have the drive and the commitment to help their people and their communities. But you're kind of left with the huge gap of missing funding, missing support from the governments for the things that we need. And then chiefs and councils have to do things like call states of emergencies and cry out for help. True justice to me would be having access to addiction services and health services right in the community. It would be, justice would be training our own people and our own experts in our own communities.
Yeah.
All of these things make so much sense, right?
No, they do, yes.
And so that's definitely a call for health and wellness service providers, right?
Yeah. So,
alrighty, and with that,
that's the end of our show. So we want to say chimigwech for tuning in today. We'll see you guys next week with Rogi Woo, Cedar Beater, Rufus Boofus, and Arrow Barrow. And you can't forget about the hosts, Lori Gentle Eagle and Two White Feather. Bama P.
have a good week, everybody. Thanks for listening.